only going to have so many guys that are going to be good at what they're able to do. You know, the jackman's going to have to be a jackman and a tire carrier most likely. So a guy that's going to be doing that, jumping off of a wall, there's only so many tight ends in the NFL that are good at what they're able to do, right? There's just 5 of them maybe, and there's 32 teams. Well, now you've got 40 teams. There's probably going to be 5 or 6 good guys that can do those roles at our level, and the rest of them, it's going to get pretty bad pretty quick, you know, or of guys not being able to do it, or there's going to be a lot of injuries too. So we'll just see how all that goes.
Do you expect pit stops to be slower?
Yes, no question. I would think that pit stops will be slower, yes.
Kyle, do you feel that Toyota will continue to enjoy the advantage you had the second half of the season last year going in to the start of this year?
I mean, I don't know. That's tough to say. I think there's enough rule changes and things like that that are coming where I think that everybody's kind of on an unknown right now. I would think that with us finishing out the season as strong as we did, that we have a little bit of an advantage over the rest of them just because we have that known. But some of the unknowns with the rule changes and things, with the splitter and the fans and the this and the that that's happening with the cars, is going to be a little bit of an equalizer for some of the teams. So I would like to think that we'd be a little bit farther ahead, but I would think that we'd all be pretty even.
There's an emphasis within the sport of kind of promoting this young generation of drivers.
Absolutely, there is. You've noticed that too?
Yeah. Well, that is my question. A lot of veterans like yourself, Kevin, your brother, almost overlooked in a way.
Yeah.
Is that fair to say? And does that bother you? Because I mean,
it is bothersome. We've paid our dues, and our sponsors have, and everything else, and all you're doing is advertising all these younger guys for fans to figure out and pick up on and choose as their favorite driver. I think it's stupid, but I don't know. I'm not the marketing genius that's behind this deal, so you know, I just do what I can do, and my part of it is what my part is. I guess one thing that can be said is probably the younger guys are bullied into doing more things than the older guys are, because we say no a lot more, because we've been there, done that, have families, things like that, and want to spend as much time as we can at home. So you know, maybe that's some of it, but you know, it's some of these marketing campaigns and things like that, pushing these younger drivers is I wouldn't say all that fair.
With you having to move into a more leadership role without Matt Kenseth, who in your career have you learned the most from when it comes to lessons about what it takes to be a leader in that kind of group?
Good question. I would say the time that I had with Jimmy Johnson was really, really good. Jimmy and I, we really enjoyed working with one another and really respected one another, still do to today. I'd probably say Tony Stewart. I only got to spend a year with him, but learned a little bit from him with that season that I had in 2008. And then since then, I'd say Matt was probably one of the top guys that I've learned about being able to communicate and share and be a teammate in all that respect.
At Homestead, all 4 of you were asked to describe the season in one word, and 2 of the 4 said long, and I think you said trying. Is there ever a point in the middle of the season when you almost feel like it's dragging on, or do you wish the off season was maybe had an extra week or 2?
I think that it's not necessarily the off season needing to be longer. I think that there's just some more breaks during the season would probably be better. You know, I don't think we need to spread our season any longer from when it starts to when it ends. I just think, you know, if we could figure out how to maybe have a weekday race, or maybe pack a couple races into a few more days, and then you have an extra off weekend, that those are really, really beneficial to all of us, especially with families and things like that. You know, when you're able to go off and do something, you know, during the summer months or whatever it may be, to be able to just have that time away from having to go to the racetrack, and to just kind of catch back up, if you will, on some much needed rest and relaxation.
Like have 2 consecutive weekends off or something like that?
No, you don't even need that. No, I'm just saying, like, let's say you run a Wednesday race and then a Sunday race. Well, that opens up another off weekend. You know, just having that another off weekend would be pretty good. You know, we have 3, I think, going into this year, so 4 would be nice, 5 would be even better. So,
do you think a weekday race is something that fans would want to see, something new they'd want to try out?
I don't know. You know, there's obviously some races that it could work. There's some venues that it could work. There's venues that it absolutely just not going to work. So you've got to be mindful when choosing some of those things and being able to make that happen. You know, looking at the NFL, they've kind of done it. They've got that Thursday night football every single week. Every single week, I'm a guy that tunes into that. I like seeing that. You know, I look forward to Thursdays. I know there's a game on Thursdays, so maybe if the NASCAR fans knew that there was a race on a Wednesday, they'd tune in.
How significant do you think the no ride height rule is going to be at Daytona now that they've changed that?
I think it's going to be better for the safety aspect. I think obviously with all of us trying to get our cars as down and as low as possible, that's going to be really good for us for lift-off speeds and things like that. It's not going to, when the car gets turned around, it's not going to want to lift as fast. So we kind of saw that a couple of years ago. I think Matt actually went upside down at Talladega. Well, a few guys went upside down, but Matt, most notably, when the car turned sideways, it automatically lifted, and then it just kind of went over. So now when the car gets sideways and turned, I don't think it's going to lift because it doesn't want to rebound. It doesn't want to be pushed back up because of the soft springs and the ride height rule. It's going to want to stay lower, flatter, so it's not going to allow the air to get underneath it. So as far as the drivability aspect of it, I think all that's going to be pretty similar. I don't think there's going to be much of that. Maybe, hopefully, it'll make the cars drive worse. So then there is some handling that comes into play. I would enjoy that. I would like that because I think anytime that you have an opportunity to out-set up someone or out-handle someone at a racetrack, that's what creates racing. That's what makes passing.
Kyle, as a car owner and truck owner and whatnot, driving with the new talent, the up-and-coming stars of the sport that will be making a transition to Monster Energy at some point, does that kind of help you keep your edge as a aggressive, assertive, smart driver?
I mean, they're always on the brink of something new. You know, whether it's a new driver, a new car, a new chassis, a new tire, whatever it might be. So you've always got to be ready for anything that's coming. And you've got to be adaptive in this sport. I think the biggest thing for me is I remember when I started in 2005, the way the cars drove then to the way the cars drive now, and the setups and the things that you're doing to get yourself to be competitive, to be fast, is entirely different than anything you ever would have thought of. So things change so fast in our sport that you've got to be ready for all of that. So, I think that kind of lends itself a little bit maybe towards the veteran driver, but I think also it lends itself to the younger driver too, because they don't know what to do. They don't know what to expect. They just drive the hell out of it, So, they don't know really how they want their car to feel. They just figure it out as they go. But it all comes around, and the guys that are good and forever will be good are always good.
To dovetail off that, Kyle, as a team owner, how do you see the evolution, some of the rules changes that are coming in the Truck Series this year, changing or perhaps